Let me tell y'all how I sent my mama to jail because she committed fraud in my name.
This little cobweb potion, you'll fall into dark devotion.
Holy shit, was I not prepared for an intro like that. As much as I want to be the type of person that can be instantly hooked onto something I pick up based off things like artwork and premise, it usually takes 2 or 3 chapters before a real fun story can really sink its teeth into me. The last time it happened was when I was first getting into the genre. And while there are many stories that I've fallen in love with, it still does take time for me to fully buy into the premise. Moralless Scandal's beginning also works. I'm stressing beginning because way too many of these stories start off really good and then they either crash and burn or drag on for too long. I haven't felt this hooked onto a story since I first read Remarried Empress. That's either a good sign or a bad omen, so I'm choosing to be optimistic. The story stars Lorena Leventis, a woman from the smaller country of Ngga. She's married to a duke from Besem named Vale Leventis. No, I don't know how to pronounce it. I probably should look it up. Oh. Baye? She's married to a Vesan duke named Baye Leventis and currently living an isolating life in Vesan, kind of like Marie Antoinette in the beginning of that one movie whose name I can't think of, or Queen Charlotte before she befriends Lady Danbury. Except that Lorena doesn't have a Lady Danbury in her corner. She has a hating ass bitch named Lady Arsu. The story begins on the worst day of Lorena's life. Sort of. It starts with her husband rubbing his affairs in her face during breakfast, with him presenting the whole thing as if it's because she hates him, that's why he cheats. Which she says what she really hates is the cheating. You know, in her head. Despite how in love with him she was, he's never shown himself to love her at all. I know it doesn't make sense in the current free chapters, but I read ahead a bit and yeah, no, it started with you, my guy. They've been married for like 7 years and he's been cheating for literally all of them. He's even smirking as he hears that, yeah, she still hasn't conceived a child. Like, this is very much a political marriage. All she wishes for is a little... The next day, she gets a visit from her supposed friend, Arsu, and Arsu is hanging with Olivia.
Who the fuck is that?
Olivia is Bale's current side chick who works at the hotel that Bale is always going to, Hotel Alvarada. Apparently, they were invited by Bale himself, though something tells me that's not true. But what they're really here to do is basically rub it in Lorena's face that her husband is cheating on her and that he's going to be divorcing her. Lorena's like, what the fuck? Because House Leventis has a long-standing business arrangement with Kleinbank, the bank that Lorena's father owns. Ngga is still a smaller country that probably gets away with not being absorbed into the Vesan Empire through their money. But that means that a lot of Vesan nobles do business with them through the Vesan branch of the bank, and a marriage between a member of House Leventis and House Klein means this relationship continues. Editing Hexley here to be like, this is my interpretation of what the relationship between the two countries are. This could very much not be the whole case, and I'm just going off of what the information I've got available to me right now, so. That is just my interpretation. Do not take it as fact. And that's kind of what Lorena is banking on. No pun intended. That she won't be tossed aside like Arsu and Olivia are saying because she has something Bale wants. So it's a bummer for her when literally 5 seconds later the cops bust into the house looking for evidence. FBI, open up! One of them tells her that her father was arrested last night under suspicions of espionage by embezzling funds from the royal family and providing investors with false information. Not only that, but Bale gave consent for his house to be searched after giving a witness statement. Interesting. The cop even goes on to say that espionage in Vesan is punishable by death while he's questioning if she had anything to do with her father's crime. This is because Lorena's brother Alfonso is Ngga's Minister of Finance. Since there's no evidence, Lorena isn't taken in, but later on that day, she confronts Bale about it, saying that her family has been falsely accused. Bale gives the whole thing about how Vincent, Lorena's father, came to him asking him to buy some government bonds from Ngga. Lorena has a breakdown to the point where she's even offering to take the fall for the sake of her dad. And general rule of thumb, never say you'll do anything to a scumbag, cause said scumbag will take full advantage of that. Bale then tells Lorena to hide out at some monastery while he tries to fix everything. And in case you needed any further confirmation that he was doing this for his own self-interest, I'll come visit you once a month, no less than every 2 months. Greet me when I do, weeping like you are now. And then he kisses her. But an interesting little tidbit is that Lorena thinks he smells like gunpowder.
I just thought that was interesting.
Wonder what that's about. We jump to 6 months later where Lorena has actually been isolated even further in the monastery, and I mean straight up isolated. She generally doesn't know a thing about what's happening in the outside world as the monastery doesn't receive letters or newspapers. Even when Bale visits her, he doesn't tell her anything because he clearly wants her ignorant and dependent on him. Because nothing says true love like isolating someone from their loved ones and mentally tormenting them into finally falling in love with you. Unfortunately for Bale, Bale this time, someone else comes to visit Lorena before he does. The mystery man gives Lorena a newspaper which tells all. The vested branch of the Klein Bank is bankrupt, and whoever wrote this article is a dickhead. PN Klein Bank, vested branch, bankrupt at last.
Camp Rock! Camp Rock!
The article also mentions that Lorena's dad took his own life with a pistol the day after he went into custody. After that happened, House Leventis was just so distraught with thinking that the bank was incredible, so they withdrew a shit ton of money from the bank. The story says it's 50 million peseta, and the act caught the attention of other vested nobles who also pulled their money out, effectively bankrupting the entire bank, which dealt a severe blow to Ingrid's economy. Lorena's brother also committed suicide, reminiscent of the Great Depression. There's a later line that suggests that because of this, Ingrid would have to maybe be bailed out by Vesson and become indebted to them and eventually be absorbed into the empire. But what Lorena is focused on is that her father died the day after he was arrested. Meaning that the day that those cops busted in, the same day that Bale sent her off, was the day her dad died. In fact, it seems that her trying to bargain for her dad's life was a hopeless effort because by that time she was talking to Bale, he was already dead, and Lorena realizes that the smell of gunpowder from that day is connected to it. Immediately she puts two and two together. Before the mystery man leaves, he says, "Non es Deus." And it's not funny, but it is funny to me. This man came all the way here from the capital, which we later learn is like a 10-day trip. He came all this way just to give her this newspaper, tell her there is no God, and leave.
You can't bake this. Go home!
Stunning entrance, sir. No notes. Brava. So Lorena is further spiraling mentally, and by the time Bale comes in, she's kinda gone. Of course, Bale, again, making no attempts to actually tell her the truth, just says, everything is settled, you can come home, basically. Lorena instantly starts going off on him, revealing she knows the truth. His only response is like, who told you? I was sure letters and newspapers weren't allowed to be sent here. Which...
what an odd thing to say.
It's a response that sets Lorena off. He's trying to calm her down, but she's going on this whole tirade. She's like, I hate your bitch ass house, I hate your bitch ass country, I hate your bitch ass dog.
What did he say fuck me for?
I want a divorce. And he's like, I know you hate me, I know. Again, he's playing the victim. Mind you, he's been cheating on her for 7 years with multiple women. They've been married for 7 years. He couldn't even be bothered to wait after the honeymoon at that point. And it's made even worse when we learn some more information in later free chapters. Because you learn this new info and it's like, why are you trying to play the victim at all, my guy? You were always playing her. Side note, it's unclear if the story is gonna do a, he never cheated, it was just a misunderstanding. He let his wife that he clearly didn't love think he was unfaithful. If it does do that, I kid you not, I will drop the story right then and there. Do not pussy out, commit. Relfon stories do it a lot because they cannot commit to their characters being pieces of shit. Because they want their characters, specifically their main characters, to be liked. Like, a lot of Relfon writers cannot handle the concept of, I like this character, but they're still a piece of shit who brought this onto themselves. So even if their MC or the male leads are garbage human beings, instead of just sitting with that, the writers instead frame it as secretly a good thing because they don't want their character to work towards being better. And if that's the case, don't bother writing a morally gray MC. Plenty of stories in this genre do fine with having an MC that's just a good person. Yeah, she has a slave, but guys, she's super sad and her life is like so hard. Can't you give her a break? No! Cersei having daddy issues and internalized misogyny doesn't change the fact that she is a psychopath that pushed another little girl down the well so said little girl couldn't potentially marry her brother, and then proceeds to constantly have beefs with little girls at her big age. Jennifer Check being a victim of murder doesn't stop her from still being a murderer herself targeting innocent people. Amy Dunn being cheated on doesn't stop her from orchestrating a plot to ruin her husband's life and then frame someone as her kidnapper the moment Nick proves he'll comply with her. Dre going through clear mental trauma doesn't stop her from being someone who is going on a murder spree as a result of both her obsession with a pop star and the death of her closest friend. Remick being a victim of colonization doesn't stop him from also being a perpetrator of the same thing. In fact, these stories work because the writers aren't trying to pretend they're good people. Mistreated, sure. A victim, sure. A product of their environment, sure. It is entirely possible to have a sympathetic character but still acknowledge that they need to be stopped. If anything, it's often stands of these characters and and works that misrepresent them because they said something that was true once. Unironically, not fans of book Cersei though, the beauty in her is that she is a fucking moron. The pussying out is my biggest pet peeve with this genre because it's insulting. I can enjoy a evil or bitchy character. I can't enjoy them if the writer starts trying to pretend they're secretly good for no other reason than they don't like seeing people talk bad about their OC. Which fair, no one likes that, but if you make your OC do questionable things, people are gonna talk about it. Hell, even if your OC doesn't do horrible things, they'll still have people talking shit about them. That's life, bro. Anyway, back to the story. He's like, I know you hate me, yet I still hired lawyers to make sure you weren't implicated so we can't get divorced. Which, I don't know why that would be the case. I'll just assume they'll explain that later on or never. He has his little fake victim moment before he tries to basically take charge of the conversation again because he's not taking her meltdown seriously. But Lorena is like, oh, you must not have heard me. Either we both leave here divorced or you leave here traumatized. First of all, bestie, where the hell did you get that? Who in the church is packing heat? She straight up asks him if he killed her dad, to which he says yes. And I guess he thinks she's bluffing and he's trying to call her bluff, so he lays out the whole thing. Yes, I shot your father. It was time for your family and your country to disappear. That had been the plan for 9 years. Y'all, he thinks this very unstable woman is bluffing. Even if she was, let's not maybe turn her bluff into reality. This woman is the only one in the room with a gun, bro. The last thing I ever personally want to deal with is getting shot or stabbed in some old-timey era, because that surgery would be hell. And we don't know if this place has magic yet. Somewhere there is someone reading this who specializes in diffusing situations like this, and they're screaming at how bad bro is doing. And he just keeps doubling down on his fake victim shit. It's not as though we were ever happy together. Mind you, again, this is a very unstable woman with a gun who has just discovered her country is suffering, her brother is dead, and her father is dead, and the only person she has left is the guy she's legally binded to who keeps cheating on her and did not tell her any of this was unfolding and who just admitted to being the one who shot her dad. And in response, he says, but you can keep bearing with me just like I've been bearing with you too. As if he's doing her a favor. Just admitted to killing her dad and setting up her whole family, by the way. I guess I can put up with you longer. In the words of Zephfire, nigga, I will harm you. Realizing that this man is deadass trying to make himself seem noble after what he said, she commits to making this no good dirty skank need therapy. You cannot control me anymore. And homeboy is shook. And because this is a regression story, Lorena then wakes up on the day before that faithful one, which means she can stop her father from getting arrested. And honestly, shout out to her dad. He's a noble dad, but the bar is so low for rope-on stories. Either dads hate their daughters like they're the Antichrist, or they're super obsessive over them in an interesting way. But the most interesting aspect, and the part that fully caught my attention for the story to the point where I in fact brought coins just to peek a bit further, we get a scene where Baye is looking scared as hell, standing over a bed in that same monastery, wondering where Lorena is. He also got sent back in time. I saw that and said, yup, you got me. Again, unless they pull that cop out. You want him to be a romance option? Make him work for it. None of that she's interesting now shit. I'm interested to see how this plays out because I really want this to be a battle of wits between two characters trying to outsmart each other. Because it's not even like the past, but like a few months. And it's interesting because she was isolated for 6 months while Bale was the one still in the know about what's happening. So she still doesn't really have the upper hand in this scenario. She has a lot of catching up to do. I'm not going to keep my hopes too high because as per the name, this genre does focus a lot more on romance than drama, which sucks because can you imagine how much more entertaining this genre would be if they were more like old soap operas? It would be ridiculous, but I would be sad. If you want to read this, you can officially read it on Webtoon, which I have been reading more of again, like Cinderella, the princess is now the duke, Murder Girl Band re-trailer trash. I even saved Love Me to Death for later because I heard it had a poly couple. And I even picked up Trapped in a Soap Opera again since I finished season 1 of Escape from the Daytime Drama. But for now, I've been Miss Hexley and I'll see you all soon.